Hi everybody. So today we are going to be dealing with simultaneous equations in 2 and 3 variables. So first let's start with simultaneous equations in 2 variables. So in 2 variables. So with simultaneous equations in 2 variables, we are going to be dealing with the substitution method. So let me add that using the substitution method. So with the substitution method, what you should know is you should be good with change of subject and then with substitution, and then with your equations as well, your linear equations. So if you have any problems with that, you can inform me on my Instagram page so that I'll make a video on that. But let's start with simultaneous equations in 2 variables. So let's pick an example. So we have 2x plus 5y is equal to 16 as our equation 1, and then we'll have 6x plus half y is equal to 19 as our equation 2. Okay, so now the first thing you do is you pick an equation, either equation 1 or equation 2, and then choose any of the variables and make it the subject. So let's choose equation 1, then let's pick x and make x the subject of equation 1. So we'll write that. So making x the subject of equation 1. So when you do that, you get x is equal to 16 minus 5y over 2. So we can further simplify this. So since it is subtraction, we don't just cancel. If it was multiplication, you can just cancel the 2 and the 16. But this one it is subtraction. So you put each of them under the denominator before we can now simplify. So now we can simplify this and get 8. So we now have our x to be equal to 8 minus 5y on 2. Okay, so now let's label this as equation 3. So now we have to substitute our equation 3 into the equation that we didn't touch. So we touched equation 1, but we didn't touch equation 2. Now we substitute equation 3 into equation 2. So now we have x is equal to this. So this is the value for x. You put it into where x is in equation 2. So substituting. Make sure that when you're solving simultaneous equation, you put all these things there, because if you solve without making the examiner know what you actually did, it could go against you. So substituting equation 3 into equation 2. So when we do that, we get 6 times 8 minus 5y over 2 plus half y is equal to 19. So now let's expand. Now we'll have 48 minus 30y over 2 plus half y is equal to 19. So now we can cancel this and get 15. Now we have 48 minus 15y plus half y is equal to 19. But then this is an equation, so you have a fraction, you have to multiply through by the LCM, right? Yeah, so multiply through by the LCM. So now we'll have 2 times 48 minus 2 times 15y plus 2 times half y is equal to 2 times 19. Now you can cancel this. Now we have 96 minus 30y plus y is equal to 38. Now we have minus 29y is equal to 38 minus 96. Now let's come and solve it. Now where will be minus 29y is equal to 38 minus 96. So minus 29y is equal to minus 58. So minus 29y over minus 29 is equal to minus 58 over minus 29. So now our y is now equal to 2. So now is the value for y. But then we are not done yet. So when you get the value for y, you take the value for y and then you place it back in equation 1. Place it back into equation 1. So what was our equation 1? Equation 1 was 2x plus 5y is equal to 16. So now we replace, so now we go on with our, so now y is equal to 2. So now you write substituting. By this, you don't bring it where I'm solving this one because I've turned the page. That's why I brought it back for those of you who are not writing as well, so you can follow. So substituting y is equal to 2 into equation 1. So now write 2x plus 5 is equal to 16. Now have 2x plus 10 is equal to 16. 2x is equal to 16 minus 10. Then 2x is equal to 6. Then we have 2x over 2 is equal to 6 over 2, 3. So now x is equal to 3. So now we conclude, therefore x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 2. So that's it. That's it for simultaneous equations in two variables using the substitution method. It's just simple. It's just that sometimes you could have some fractions and all that could make the work a bit difficult, but this is it. Just understand the steps. First, choose an equation, make one of them the subject. Where you make one of the variables the subject, you place that value into the next equation that you didn't touch. Now you solve. So now you should just make sure that your change of subject is very good, your substitution is very good, and then your linear equations are very good. Because if you don't know how to solve linear equations, there's no way you'll be able to arrive at the answer. It's a matter of linear equations. So that's all. So if you're able to solve linear equations very well, you'll be able to solve this very well. So this is it. When you get it, so after getting your answer for the first equation, that's your value for the first variable, you substitute it into the equation that you touched when you were beginning, and then now you even have a much simpler, linear equation to solve, and then that's it. You are done for the first variable. So now let's move on to simultaneous equations in three variables. Using the substitution method as well. So okay, so let's move on. So let's put our head in there. Simultaneous equations in three variables. Using the substitution method. Okay, so this one is a bit more complicated. So when you're doing it, you have to be very focused. So now let's write down our equations. For example, for this one, so we have 4z plus 3y plus 2x is equal to 28, and these are equation 1. Then our equation 2, we have 3z plus y plus 6x is equal to 25. That's equation 2. And then 2z minus 5y plus 7x is equal to 0, and that's our equation 3. Okay, so for this one, once again we are going to choose an equation. So with this one, well, we'll do is we'll choose an equation. Then we'll make one of the variables the subject. Then we'll replace or we'll substitute that value of the variable into the other two equations. So now we'll have, an equation, or we'll have simultaneous equation in two variables instead. So we'll solve in two variables and then we'll come and look for the last one. So instead of talking much, let me just jump into it. So I said what? We'll first select an equation and then we'll make any of the variables the subject, sorry. So now let's select equation 2 because y has no, coefficients. So it will be easier to do that. So let's select this one, equation 2. So making y the subject of equation 2. Okay. So now y will be equal to 25 minus 6x minus 3z. Right? Yes. So now we'll substitute this. So let's name it equation 4. So substituting equation 4 into equation. So now here we are substituting into the 2. So into equation 1 and 3. So now let's go. So now we have 4z plus 3. So now the value of y comes 25 minus 6x minus 3z, then plus 2x is equal to 28. Now let's solve this one first.